So we have two more recognitions that we have on the agenda tonight. The first one is Steve Norby, and I don't know, Russ, were you planning on talking about this? I can. Okay, well, let me do my part, and you can jump in if you like. We were very proud to learn this year that Steve was selected as the 18th Kansas Principal of the Year from the West Kansas Speech and Debate Association, and that honor is very well deserved by Mr. Norby. He does a tremendous job at Garden City High School, and Russ is a little more familiar with that organization than I am. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, the state is split up into different NSDA districts. It's National Speech and Debate Association, and so West Kansas is from it's like the state, the other side of the state thinks about it. So West Kansas is Salina and Hutch West, and so covers a lot of ground. Each year, the national organization allows each district to recognize a principal or administrator of the year. And Steve, I nominated Steve for that honor this year, and he was this year's recipient for that.
Yeah, and I got to go to Bueller in April to the national qualifying tournament there to see the kids that were in front of you just a second ago get their bids to nationals, and that was a lot of fun. And I want to just echo what Russ said earlier about the support that he gets and we get for not just speech and debate programs, but for all of our programs from you and central office, from you as a board. But especially this coming year for speech and debate program, as we do get to host for the first time in a decade the state debate tournament at Garden City High School. So we get to make all the 5 and 6A schools in the state figure out how in the world they're going to get to Garden City to come to our.
Very excited.
Yeah, I bet they're really pumped. And
there are lots of forms of excitement.
Yeah, and that's not possible without Dr. Carlin and his team supporting us and allowing us to do that at the high school. It's going to take a lot of work, and I know it's something we can pull off, but it's due to your support. And also, I think getting that out here is another testament to the respect that Russ Tidwell has throughout the state of Kansas. They're just not going to move the speech and debate tournament for 5 and 6A from where it's been in the East out here to just have anybody run it. And I think that says a lot about what Russ brings to the table for our students and our school. So, thank you for your support.
Last recognition, we received an award as a district this year from the YMCA, Community Health Champion Award. This award is given to special volunteers who provide outstanding service and leadership, primarily focusing on program volunteers who dedicate their time and energy to see that the YMCA program benefits those in need. So I'll pass that down to President Cruz, and just want to thank the Y for that and recognize all the people in the district who are involved and made that award possible. So,
touch it. Gotta touch it. That'll be part of the exercise program. That's the certificate. Okay, that's a lot of recognitions tonight. Super job, super kiddos. We're honored that they were able to come tonight. Were there any correspondence? Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda, item E1
agenda? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes. We're to agenda item F, curriculum reports.
You just press the Apple TV.
The Apple TV.
This is where I wish they were singing to add some music in as you're watching. So anyone can feel free to do that. Well, thank you for having me tonight, and I also want to introduce Margaret Alboltz, or Monsieur Alboltz. So she's our community engagement coordinator, and so there's lots of people we could thank, but we want to have a bunch of young people here, but you saw a lot of young people who have been involved in this project. If you want to pass these up, now this is just an information sheet, and so you don't have to look at that now, but it tells a little bit about what's actually happening, but what we are calling Peak Performance Project. So in 2017, hopefully you've heard of Live Well Finney County or the Finney County Community Health Coalition. And so we were awarded 2 grants. One was, both of them were from KDADS. And so these grants allowed us to work on underage drinking, underage illegal drug use, and then prescription drug misuse and abuse. And so the one thing that we really wanted to do is the grant helped us to really work within the school system. And so they really wanted us to focus on young people, adolescents, age 13 to 17. And so one thing that we were really excited about is that the ability that we had to partner with the high school. The Peak Performance Project it's modeled after a program called Life of an Athlete, and now it's been rebranded called Human Performance Project. So if you go on the internet and you look up, if you Google, which is how we do everything nowadays, if you Google it, you're going to find Human Performance Project, and we'll be sending out to you some additional videos that you can see, so you can see what's happening. Thank you. Do you need one? No. And we were awarded the 2 grants, and there's basically 3 years of the grants. And so in April, we had the incredible privilege of hosting the April Chamber Breakfast. It was the largest breakfast they've ever had. They had 137 people there. 32 of those were young people. And the businesses, I don't know if any of you were able to be there or not, but the businesses were really excited. And so they were able to present this presentation. Unfortunately, they're not here tonight, so I get to do this for you, and we'll move through some of these and so you can see some of the things that they talked about. I do want to recognize Drew Tone, who has been incredible to work with. When we first came to him with this project, he was actually all in. This is something, he said, this is something not only that our school system needs, but we also need as a high school. And what we're excited about is we're making culture change, not only high school, but hopefully moving that down to our junior highs and then down to our community centers, and hopefully all the way through our community. So we believe that Peak Performance Project is really, it's not just a school effort, but it's a community-wide effort. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So Dr. Carlin, Drew Tone, Steve Norby, and all we met and we talked and talked about how this project might work. And so we're excited about this. We're getting ready to launch the project. we're sending 16 young people and then 4 sponsors to Nebraska to do some training. Now they get to go and do some training with John Underwood, with the Navy SEALs, and then also with a guy named Brandon Bear. Now, I'm not a real football fan, but he was on the championship Philadelphia Eagles team. 2 times they won the national championship. So just to let you know, these men are committed to committed to prevention. And so what this project does is it not only brings about education, but it brings about prevention, intervention, and hopefully what we call restoration. So when we talk about the Peak Performance Project, we're going to give you a little idea of how this is going to work. So when we talked about the Peak Performance Project and the why, this year we're really excited. The statistics just came out. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Ctc Survey, the Kansas Children That Care Survey. But in the past years, we've been a little bit under. We were at 30%. This year, because of Jenny Hands and her incredible staff, we're at 60%. So now the information that we get from the survey is going to be even better. But the goal of the grant was to reduce underage drinking, drug use, and prescription misuse and abuse. And we talked about all of these different things as the students talked about all of these, which was really exciting. They talked about, and we worked through some statistics so that they had those statistics. But talking about the Ctc survey, you can see here, this is from our 2007, this is from our 2016, 2017's numbers just went up. But we talked about the different issues, the issues with alcohol. So you can see we're below the state average at this time. Well, I'll tell you, with a 60%, with a 30% increase in our participation, some of those numbers might change. And so we're going to expect that with more participation. With the issue of marijuana and illicit drug use, again, you can see we're right at the state average. And this is how many times do you think people harm themselves physically if they try marijuana once or twice? So again, there are a lot of statistics that we're building into these. We wanted to make sure and present some things that really mattered. Here was another drugs statistic. And then the thing that was really exciting is that they read out these different statistics. 95.5% of our students have never done alcohol. 98.4% have never tried marijuana or done marijuana. 89.5% have never abused prescription drugs or taken that not prescribed for them. 93.5% of our students, again, this idea of understanding that they're willing to make a pledge to stay off of drugs and alcohol. And 28% think it's kind of cool, really to be known for not doing drugs and alcohol. So when we talked about that, we talked about the where and who. The thing that's really neat about this is that we wanted to start with Garden City High School and then really move it on down. The reason we started with Drew is many of you have heard of KSHA activities. And so KSHA activities, these are the different activities that are impacted by KSHA. And when we started out, we were going to do just an athlete program, but there weren't enough students involved in the athletics to really impact and make a culture change. So what we did is we did all KSHA activities, and the statistics show that 67% of our students participated in the KSHA activity. You saw some of the KSHA activities: music and band, and choir, and debate, and forensics, and cheerleading, and piano. All of these different things really build into the KSHA activities. So we're really going to get a good opportunity of those, including those students. Here is the Kansas Children That Care Survey that we talked about, but we want to talk about the how, so you kind of have an idea. The Peak Performance Project has 5 different components. So the first component we really talk about is this idea of if young people can eat better, have better nutrition, then basically they're going to really be at their peak performance. So the young people talked about these statistics. If they get better sleep, and some days that's really, and you know when you don't get a lot of sleep, but you think about this idea of if you can get additional sleep. So you can see how this not only impacts young people, but it also impacts our whole community. Students who pull all-nighters, this is their average grade point average, and students who don't pull all-nighters, again, look, 3.2. So again, getting a good night's sleep really is your best preparation for a test, and that in study. Proper training and exercise, we're really excited about the proper training and exercise. John Underwood is a scientist. He's worked with NASA, he's worked with the Navy SEALs, he's worked with several different national football teams, he's now beginning to work with a lot of baseball teams. The thing that's exciting is that he's a scientist who really understands how to perform at a higher level, how to really do the things, how to train in a way that really improves your performance. And we have the opportunity to really work with him. The other thing is this idea of stress, and so This is something new that they've added onto their program, and stress has become a real hot topic. And so a lot of things, there's lots of ways that people deal with stress. But what this program does is teach students and teach, hopefully, our community. As our students learn how to deal with stress, hopefully our community will also. So you can see this idea that, really there is no good stress. That stress, you never really adapt to stress. Finally, what's really important, and then this is the reason why this grant is funded, is this idea that if we can reduce the effects of marijuana, illegal drug use, alcohol, and prescription drug misuse, you can see here when people take opioids, what happens actually is that the overdose is it shuts down the brainstem. And even though there are ways, even if it's caught early, there are ways that we can actually save some people through different medications. But I'll tell you, it's really important that we do something different. So the thing that's really neat about as we go through these 5 components, which will be in our leadership, this is how we're going to implement it. So this year, we've been working with a task force of some parents, of some coaches, of some students, and some instructors, and a principal to talk about how are we going to create what's called a code of conduct. And I know Drew is going to be introducing that, I don't know if this meeting at a later meeting, but this idea of how can we create a code of conduct with some things that we can help people really get back to where they need to be. We have a current code of conduct, and there's going to be some things in the new code of conduct that hopefully will really help build into them some drug and alcohol program training. We'll also intervene for them as we go through a program called Teen Intervene, and then help them get back to where they can participate and be involved in the things that they care about. So we're really important about the code of conduct. We've been working on that to really get it ready to present to you. It will go before, Drew will take it before the principal, then he'll take it before Dr. Carlin, then hopefully come to you to say, here are ways that we think that we can intervene for students to help them get back to where they want to go. So it's a disciplinary process and checklist. It's going to be something that's very structured, but really it's all dealing with intervention and restoration. Our really goal is not to punish, but really this idea of how can we get young people back to where they want to be, back so that they can participate. So we're excited about the idea, and we've got some incredible partnerships coming up. This year, as I said, our goal was to take 15 students, but I'm going to tell you, when the 16th student is awesome, there's just really no way you can turn them down. We're going to take 15 students, 4 coaches, directors, and sponsors are going to go to, that's called the Human Performance Project in Nebraska. Western Nebraska is doing the same thing. We stumbled across them and quickly created a really great collaborative partnership. They were able to do some of these things, and we were able to bring students and put some dollars toward the summer training. But we're really excited about these young people going up for a 2.5-day training to really learn not only the 5 components of the Peak Performance Project, but also this idea of what does it look like to be a student leader. After they get back, here are the different speakers. John Underwood, we were actually able to bring him out. Before we went any farther, we brought him out. He spoke to the entire freshman class, which was exciting, and he spoke to all of the Acacia, sophomore, junior, and senior, both boy and girl, and all in those different sports and activities. And the thing that John is, he's like a fire hose. He has so much great information, and he cares so much about the students. And he's telling them, if you can do these things, if you can really manage yourself, if you can do the different 5 components, then not only will you begin winning more championships, but the life that you have planned is the life that you're going to get. Nothing happens by accident. And John is a really great speaker, and he gave us lots of information. Applied Sciences is the Navy SEALs. They'll be there. The thing about Navy SEALs, not only are they totally cool, they're the top of the top. And this is SEAL Team 6 that these 2 young guys come from. But they are totally dedicated to helping young people get the best out of their lives. And finally, that Brandon Bear, he's a former NFL defensive end, played for the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, this idea that they really care about prevention for young people. So they're going to be at that summer training. When they come back from the summer training, we're going to have in August a kickoff night. And so we're really excited about, they're going to have some opportunity to put together some information that they can present to everyone at that kickoff night. Now the thing that's really neat about the kickoff night is all Acacia activities will be together at the kickoff night, and then they'll separate into their different groups, whether it be athletics, football, basketball, band, choir. They'll separate out, and then we will actually have some time to sit and talk with the parents. And the thing about the parents is we have what's called a parent code of conduct and this parent pledge and family pledge. And we give parents some real tools to help them help their young people stay off of alcohol, drugs, and prescription drug misuse. To help so that they understand that sleep matters and stress matters and nutrition and exercise all matter. And so we're excited about, we're going to be able to talk to those parents, just talk about, hey, these are the things that we want to have you help us. You know, anytime there's an issue like this, really the solution is the parent. And so when you have great parents and you have informed parents, we're really expecting the parents to step up and help us not only change the culture of their student, but change the culture of our school and of our community. So they'll go out to breakouts. We'll talk with the parents about being committed. It's called Peak Performance Project, Committed to Excellence. We'll talk about their code of conduct and then hopefully have some fun activities together. Finally, we're going to create what's called a Committed to Excellence Club that will happen we don't know the day or the time. I know there's a lot of moving parts, and so trying to figure out when you can get students all together. You always think it's really simple, but it isn't. But I mean, our students are really dedicated. These young people, we're going to create, we're going to have weekly club meetings. They're going to do some really great things around the different 5 components. We're going to have some special speakers. Our ultimate goal, and something that has never been done, is we would love to see our juniors go and mentor 8th graders who are in the different K-SHA activities, who are moving up. Not only will it build this incredible relationship, but when you come to the high school, think how cool it is that you're a freshman knowing a senior. So our goal is really to take this, not only start to there, and then later on take it down to the younger grades. As we grow, as we grow in the program, we're going to hopefully encourage some standout young people to go and take additional training. There's an institute called CAD Institute. It happens this year in Orlando, Florida. And so the thing that's really neat about the CAD Mid-Year Institute happens in the summer is it really trains young people to be part of the solution and to really step up and take leadership. So we have some big plans over the next couple of years. Our ultimate goal is to create a leadership class that will actually be a year-long class. And again, this idea of application, applying to the class, we think this will be a huge benefit to our student and our student body. This idea of help them create, our goal is a 19 and 20 class. We'll pattern out the Leadership Garden City. They'll be able to go to the Kansas Leadership Center. Wichita State is partnering with us. The League of Municipalities is helping us put together their youth part component. So these young people will have opportunities like no one else. It's a bummer because some of my students have already graduated, but this would be really cool for them. But the thing is we're building a community and we're building something from the ground up. So the thing that's exciting is that we have a lot of community partners that are already engaged. When the young people spoke at the April breakfast, we had 5 businesses that came up and said, hey, whatever you need, we want to be a part. Some of those businesses offered dollars, some of those offered their time, some of those offered their building or their places of business. So the thing about, as we get started, we're going to start in the school system, but the thing that we're excited about is that we're going to be moving all through the community. So the first place, again, is the school. We're going to start with the parents, being parents committed. The chamber, we want the chamber to be committed. Hopefully going all the way through our local government officials being committed to really changing the culture of our communities. There are lots of communities in Kansas that are struggling with very serious issues. When you hear about some of the things that are happening or some of the things that have now become available in our community, it's kind of scary, but I'll tell you the thing that we have incredible young people. And they are willing to do the work. And they're willing to step up and to really let their voices be heard. So this is a program that lets them be a part of something bigger than themselves. The grant would let us do where they did book work and we did pre and post tests, but we wanted something that was live, organic. It's messy, believe me. We thought there was a point A to B, and I don't even know where we're at it right now. We've been all over the alphabet, so there was no A, B, C. It's not worked like that. But we have built incredible relationships and partnerships throughout the community, and the thing that's neat about our community is that people really care about our young people. They're willing to invest. And they're willing to not only put their money, where they care about, but they're also ready to put their time, their talent, their skills. So I wanted to make sure and introduce, and just to say thank you publicly to Drew. He's been incredible through the whole process. I'm sure he's like, please don't call me, email me for just a couple of days, so I can just actually get something else done. But you know, when you're dealing with young people and you're dealing with a program that really, it has some modeling and we're trying to make it fit. This is the largest school system that's ever been tried. And so we're undertaking something that's never been done before. Usually it's done in 2 and 3A schools, in both out in California and also in Nebraska. So this is the first time it's ever been done with this many people and on this big a scale. So we're making lots of mistakes, we're learning lots, but we're really excited about moving forward. So any questions that we can answer for you? Or
Well, yeah, it was a nice presentation.
thank you.
I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
Because every time concern that I have about, what our future is with our kids, and especially when it comes to services. I was curious, you mentioned briefly that you surveyed our kids twice now, 30% return the first time, 60% return the second time. Is that right? And that's a voluntary survey?
Yeah, 2 years ago, it used to be that you had to opt out of the survey, the Kansas Children Care Survey. And 2 years ago, the state legislature changed it where you had to opt in. And we think some parents didn't understand, and so you had to actually, at enrollment, you had to actually sign something saying that you allowed the student to take a survey. So we had a year where we didn't have very good results. Last year, our results, there was changing over again. There wasn't the understanding how that really worked. But this year, it was in the enrollment packet. Ginny Hansen and her staff followed up with everyone who said no, and we have over 60%, which is what we have to have for our grant to get funded. So we were really excited because we had a plan to take us 3 years to get to that 60%, but we did it in 1 year.
So when they're given the survey, then they have to opt out. They're already included in the survey unless they deny being involved with it.
No, they have to opt in. Nowadays, the parents have to sign and say, yes, you can take the service.
And why is that?
Oh, I know. I wish the state legislature felt, the legislature felt that it was something that the parents should really decide. But the thing that's really important about the survey for us is not only does it give dollars to Live Finney County, but many different organizations that serve youth in our community use these survey results. Compass Behavioral Health is one of them. In fact, when they wrote their big grant to really serve students, that's part of the information that they use. So this data, I can't tell you how important it is.
Yeah, so when you cited the data on substance usage, you're talking about district-wide usage.
Exactly, yeah. We don't, yeah.
Breaking that down to necessarily the high school.
Well, the sixth graders, 8th graders, 10th graders, and 12th graders take this survey.
I see.
And so we take it we do district-wide statistics. You can break it down by building, and if you want to dig deeper into the data. But we're looking at district-wide right now is where we really look at knowing that our younger people might not have had exposure, especially 6th graders is what our hope is. And then, with 12th graders, hopefully that they made the decision not to. So.
And you have a goal for a survey response rate of, in the future, 60% is good, that's what the whole is.
That's what we have to have to continue to get funded. 85% is our goal.
85%.
And I'll tell you, it's not just, because Finney County is treated as a county, so I will tell you currently Holcomb does not take the survey. Margaret was able to talk with the parochial schools, and they're now taking the survey in their 6th grade, and so that was really exciting. But we do have a meeting with the new superintendent, and the principal over in Holcomb, and we think that's going to change this year. So.
Does the survey break down specific type of substance abuses? So there will be ways to glean information about what types of substances.
Yeah, it breaks it down. Alcohol, illegal drugs, and the prescription drugs is something that, because of the opioid, I don't think it's a crisis, but I mean, we need to be responsive to it. But so those are the 3 major topics, and then there's lots of questions around family domain, how people think about. The change in people's perception about alcohol, drugs, especially marijuana, has really changed. And so how the culture changes in our community, it also changes how the student thinks about that. And so there's lots of different information on that. And we will actually be getting a sense-making document that we will provide. Greenbush is the company that is contracted by the state. They'll put together what's called a sense-making guide, and we'll actually provide that so that if you would like that information. And then we can dig deeper into lots of those different domains, and we'd be glad to do that with you.
I'm just really hopefully we'll be able to give you participation rate that
Yeah.
even higher than 85%, not to put any pressure on you.
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah.
But-
Yeah, 60%, we were at 30 the year before, and so 60, we
Yeah,
pulled
that's,
that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, Jenny pulled it up, and we can't take any credit, but, you know, the school, and really where the lowest participation was the high school. So she really, that's when, you know, kids don't take something home, or you, as a parent, you never see it. And you find out the night before, oh, you have a concert, so, oh, you have a game. But, so the thing I think is really, so the high school is a place where I think it was the hardest to lock kids in, but she really did an excellent job. She coordinated it district-wide, though, so they did a great job for the district.
Well, it should be helpful for us as a board if we could really get a handle on what kind of usage we are doing, and especially long term, what type of trends we're seeing. That might help us be more proactive instead of reactive. So we're really excited about the program.
Yeah, we are too. As I said, the school has been incredible. We can't believe it. Actually, all of the junior high students received prevention training this year. And we were able to provide dollars for AVID, which is something that they needed, and then we needed them to provide prevention training. And every single 7th and 8th grader received prevention training. And so starting there and then hopefully moving up, this program we really feel is an opportunity to really change the culture. And so we're really going to be implementing a culture change survey that not only talks about the Ctc survey about the specifics, but a culture survey. So how do you feel about, you know, now about alcohol and drugs and prescription drug misuse? So we're excited about the future too. So.
What do you mean by prevention training? What did that mean?
Well, there's a program called Operation Prevention, and you can actually go online and find Operation Prevention. But it talks about what happens with prescription drugs. I know it's hard to believe, but when we were meeting with a couple of the principals, we had some students who were actually asking other students for any additional pain medication if they got their wisdom teeth taken. So you know, you're thinking that, and so you think that these prescription drugs are not an issue, but you know, lots of times if we can help educate people about how to take them responsibly, and then again, we're doing more with disposal sites too. So it's kind of it's a global approach. We're really working all over, but again, we're really, the neat thing about having impact every 7th and 8th grader was really a unique opportunity. And the thing that was really cool is they were able to get AVID in the program, and AVID in the schools, and so it's really going well. We're able to fund AVID for 3 years, so we're excited about that.
Other questions? Sounds like an exciting program. Please keep us
We will.
involved. Let us know when that August meeting is.
Okay.
Maybe we might try to attend.
Yeah. Next May, we're hoping on bringing the Navy SEALs out so we can all do a workout on the football field. I'll do pictures for you guys.
We're community health champions. Bring it.
What was the expert's name that was here?
John Underwood.
He was outstanding, and that was an event that was open to the entire community, and there was a little bit of participation, probably could have been better. But the information that he shared was so compelling, of what technology can do to show the effects that different substances have on people's brains, and I mean, he graphically illustrated all of that, and I imagine his work with kids was eye-opening for them, and because it's right there in front of you, and you can see huge differences for people who are using substances and those who are not. And he was amazing.
Yeah, he complimented our young people. Like he was kind of leery about bringing all of the freshmen in because his experience. But I'm going to tell you, they were so well behaved and so engaged. And but I'll tell you, the man he has such a heart for young people. And like Steve said, he knows his stuff. But this is all science based. In the grant, we have to do evidence based programming. We can't do what we think, and so we have to follow by fidelity, and so these things that we're putting into place are things that have to be in place so that the actual program will produce the results that we're all hoping for. So,
Thank you, Troy.
thank you.
Good information. Please keep us up to date.